Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. I hope everyone's having a good day. We're going to be doing a Spirituality Tuesday, but on a Wednesday, because like the whole switch yesterday. Gonna hopefully be wrapping up Spiritfarer today. I believe in us. I think. We'll see. But before we begin, first of all, congratulations, Catholic Brit, on your crown of Furstendom this day. May it give you confidence for the meeting that you must endure. And also good to see you, Bad Roxy. It's officially space heater season. I mean, it's always space heater season to me, but I call my space heaters computers. So I actually have to have the AC on when I'm streaming. Just because of like how hot it can get in this office with all the lights and the computers. I find that funny. But good to see you. But yeah, so and also thank you to Extra Clean. Oh, we got a lurking Dave. We got a lurking Dave. I see him lurking. Lurking Father Dave. Anyway, also thank you to Extra Clean for the follow. Welcome to the channel. So hope the audio sounds good. I'm still having some issues hearing myself. It's kind of weird. I don't know. But everything looks normal, so fingers crossed. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's dive on in. Do some Spiritfarer. So last time we took Elena to the Spirit Door. So we need to find the bounty. We need to do some shrines. And we need to visit the vending machine. I kind of don't want to do Daria's thing to see if we can... Anyway, yeah. So Grey Mist Peak and the last bounty. Well, he's going to be asleep, so why don't we set coordinates for Grey Mist? Which I believe was down here. Nope. Oh, there it is. We're pretty close, actually. So I was thinking about this game. And one of the things that came to my mind was, you know, all the animal-looking spirits are representations of people that Stella knew, and a lot of whom she worked with in a medical capacity. But there are other animal spirits that are not on the boat, like Francis here. Or the ship guy, Albert. So I was just kind of thinking about that and what they represent. Also, and maybe this is something that you... actually, I kind of want a shoe, because we can make glue out of that. And maybe you realize this. I didn't. It took me forever. All these empty houses represent Stella's grappling with her grief, as she has said goodbye to all these people. Let's do oil and a potato. Ah, good morning, Buck. How be ye? I feel like you'd like sauerkraut. Humble thanks, Commander. This sustenance is right on time. My hunger was reaching level 1. Oh, Buck. So we don't need to do anything here at Grey Mist until tonight.
Wow.
Stella. Guess what? They've finally corrected the second module of the weapon manual. They added critical tables in the finesse weapons and clarified the rules of engagement. Right when I was about to call it quits with War and Worms, TM. You know, I was legit worried that it would go down the 2.5 edition path. You know, I'm not mincing words. Remember how they modified the spellcasting system? Oh, I remember this the worst. As if W&W was a kid's game such as Sorcery the Reunion, TM. Man, even after all these years, I'm still so mad at it. Hey, what's up, Stanley? What's up, little guy? I've been thinking about my play. How people didn't like it. Oh, no. No. It's okay. As Mom said, they're entitled to their own opinion. I'm not angry or sad because of it. I guess there are things in life you can't really control, can't you? Like the cat. I don't think I can be here anymore. We should go to the Everdore. Will you come with me? I think I'm scared. I don't think I like new places that much, but if you're with me, I think it'll be all right. It's gonna be like that as a game. You're gonna hit me with the feels right away. Here, Stan, I have... First of all, you need a hug. And second of all... Have some french fries. Oh, these are french fries! I love these! They're my favorite thing! Yeah, that figures. I'm ready to say goodbye to Stanley. He's too pure. I thought I bought some mystery seeds. Okay, Elena, what did you write to us? Stella, you have a bit more to go. I think you could upgrade your stations. Elena. Stella, I think you've had enough time off. I marked a few errands for you to do. Francis will be providing you with details. Elena. No! No, no, no. You have fluttered off through the Everdore. You don't get to tell us what to do anymore. Besides, I don't know what I can even improve at this point. Because I think I need blueprints for I need a blueprint for the cellar. Okay, that I can upgrade. Pine plank and 2 electrum sheets. Let's make that real quickly. We're Spiritfaring! We are indeed. Good CML. Stanley just asked us to take him to the Everdore. So we're promptly ignoring that. No, we're not ignoring it. We're going to do what the quest we need to do here is first. And then take him. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, not our boy. Unfortunately, everyone was so mean about the play. They were big butts. need to make another of those. It worries me to see the cattails too close to the hammer. What about so close to the fire? The cat has its own Everlight. It can take care of itself. Can't you, Daffodil? Good Daffodil. It's a good name for a cat, Daffodil. In Kurt Vonnegut's Slapstick, that was the new middle name that the president gave to himself, was Daffodil. I think his number was 7. Which probably makes no sense if you don't know anything about Slapstick or haven't read it. My kitties are laying next to me and grooming, and it's turning into a fight. Yeah, that sounds like cats. Okay. Let's improve that. I need a blueprint. I need a blueprint. I need a blueprint. Let's get to the shrine. What do you have for sale? Just a bunch of seeds. Nope, not high enough. Oh, you overshot that. Okay, now we just need to wait here for nightfall. So, you're gonna save me anytime soon? Not a hurry or anything, but, you know, chosen one stuff, right? So, buddy, I can't help you. You don't have an animal to manifest into. Lily, where are you? Also, Nightfall, where are you? Is this the pizza place? Sure. One Spirit pizza coming right up for you, your dukeliness. Ooh, this is pretty. Yeah, this game is very pretty, Webby. It's also very full of feels. Also good to see ya. Hey, I'm back. I'm sad to report that there were no cute doctors wandering the halls. Look at you. I'm so frail. But even on your hospital bed, you're still gorgeous. Oh, this whiskey bottle's half empty. Let's just go ahead and say you drank the rest. You remember that phone call you gave me last year? You had taken a sabbatical from work. I had to call the center to learn about it. Yeah, she took a few months off. She got some bad news. What a weird way to learn that your sister isn't doing well. So you call me 2 weeks or something after. It's maybe 2 in the morning here. Your voice is shaking. I hear you breathing heavily. You start talking about the trees around you in the air. No, hi, Lily. No, I'm not doing well. Nothing. Just talking about the trees in the air. You said it was cold. That it felt like death, even over here. I didn't even know where here was. You went silent. And then you said you'd be home in a few days. I don't know what to make of it all. Are you sleepwalking? Was that whole thing just a dream? I was scared. You came back and told me, and Mom, your diagnosis. And now we're here together. Mom is awake. I'm awake, and I'm holding your hand. If you can hear me, I love you so much, sis. You're not alone in the woods anymore. We're here, Stella. You'll never be alone. You've never been alone. We just... Stella's... Oh, no. We just got the quest to end the game. That, I'm not gonna lie, that actually, when I read that, my gut dropped. That was, like, it's something you know that's coming, but it's just like, ooh. Ready for Vegas. Might be a Ferrari 1-2 again. Ah, you're gonna go see the Racing Mins. Oh, you're not going. Oh, okay. Oh, was that a shenanigans that I got? I got something about the Tundra, I thought. Or was that... Oh, that's the one we just completed. Okay. I hope this lets me take... Stanley through first. Hey, Brute. Just scouting the competition for Saturday. Oh, that's fair. Are we taking Stanley? We're taking Stanley. We're not going to take Stella and Daffodil right away. I hope. I know, but this is our job. This is our duty. To be a Spiritfarer. Stanley is the only mushroom I like. He's a precious child who died of cancer. Can we go yet? You decide. Thanks. And all I have left in terms of spirits is Buck. Oh, I almost forgot. I liked you when it was just you and me, doing experiments and running around chasing dust shades. Don't forget to do that sometimes. I won't be there, but I'm sure it will still be fun. He's crying. People can be mean. Really mean. Why do they have to be? My mom is mean sometimes. Just like your friends after my play. It makes me sad when people are mean. And sometimes I cry when I'm sad. But then I remember what my dad used to say. Stanley, people are not really mean. Sometimes their intentions just take the wrong path. I don't hate your friends. They're not bad people. That's what my dad would say. I just do bad things sometimes. I never wanted to let Mom down, or make people not like me. I want to do bad things, but sometimes I do. I always regret it. I don't think that makes me bad. I think my mom will be disappointed in me. Disappointed that I had to go. I tried. I really tried. I don't think I did. I like it when I win, but I couldn't this time. I think it's okay. It's okay to lose sometimes. I really think it is. I'm really trying to be brave, but I'm really scared. I wish I could be a superhero and never be afraid. I hope so much that this was just a nightmare. If it was a nightmare, why can't I wake up? I was trying and trying. I just wanted to wake up. I always talk to myself. Stanley wants to wake up, but it never worked. I never woke up. It all felt so real. It made me sad. So sad I couldn't think of anything other than sadness. You take care of Jacob, okay? Jacob is a good beetle. He was my friend. This is exactly like my play. But this time I'm the lead actor. I'll put on a good show, I promise. I feel strange. I feel cold. I wish Mom was here, and Dad. But you're here, Big Hat. I really like you. I hope it's like falling asleep. Stanley, you're the goodest boy. Oh my. These are all the spirits that we've already walked with. And have already taken through the Everdoor. So this is the first one we took, Gwen. Oh, we can give them all hugs again. Gwen died of lung cancer, but had a very depressing life. And just, it was a lot. The heart in this game. It's amazing. I love this game. It is a lot. This is a tool. He's our uncle. We never actually took him through the Everdoor. He actually just kind of disappeared one night, which is kind of very in keeping with his life on Earth. So theoretically, Stella never got to actually say goodbye. Like, she never was there or never found out about his death. This is Alice. She was a neighbor. She had a very long form of dementia and eventually thought we were her child. This was a patient. Oh, I wish I could remember her name. Heather. She's a snake. She battled cancer, which is manifest as the dragons that we find around the ocean, and their tumors are the things we break. And she had this beautiful story about ultimately not needing to conquer the dragon, but live with the dragon and accept it and see that it's not an evil entity, but will still, you know, take her in the end. Stanley, our beautiful boy, he was 8 and died way too early. Mickey and Bruce. Mickey's the bird, Bruce, they're brothers. And the thing is that I think this is a beautiful representation. I'm going to give him a hug. Mickey gives great hugs. So Bruce, being a big ox, being carried around by a tiny hummingbird. Bruce actually predeceased Mickey by years. And so that isn't really Mickey, or isn't really Bruce per se. It's a manifestation of the weight that Mickey carries. He was always trying to be a tough guy. Always prove he was the strongest. It was all because of his brother. And yeah, he was a picky eater. This is Astrid, a wonderful old woman. Just a wonderful, caring grandmother of a character who had a complicated relationship with her husband, Giovanni. Giovanni cheated on her. She still loved him and was able to forgive him, and he was able to be at her bedside when she passed. And he was a bit of a lech. This is him. This is Giovanni. But she was able to do that. I forget this bird's name. He's an artist that we knew while he was in the hospital. Astrid is darling. I love Astrid. I would hug her 10 out of 10. Buck is still here. We haven't taken Buck through the Everdoor. No, I did a little reading ahead. Buck does not go through the Everdoor. Buck is kind of like Uncle O'Toole. We still give him a hug. Turns out that Buck was a teenager. And kind of the manifestation of the story of him playing with his friends is him in the afterlife waiting for his friends to catch up to him, in the sense of like living out their lives and coming to their ends it naturally, and then joining him. And it's heavily implied, if you complete out his storyline, that he becomes the next Spiritfarer, that he actually takes up Stella's mantle after she's gone. This is... Oh, I wish I could remember names. Aww. Beverly. This is Beverly. She was our upstairs neighbor. She was very kind and sweet to us in life. She would make soup for us. Laksa soup. She also had a form of dementia, but it was more the kind of tell you the same thing. So she would ask us repeatedly to build her a house and then turn around and there was her house. So it was very heartbreaking in and of itself in that way, but kind of beautiful of being with her. Elena was a teacher of a kind. She wasn't ever actually all that nice to us. And I think that's it in terms of spirits. Because there's also Daria the bat and the orderly from the hospital. But they haven't joined our ship yet. Oh. And then there's Lily, who's represented as this sort of collection of butterflies because she's not a spirit. She's alive. Very much. So you want me to say I'm proud of you because I'm not saying it? Yeah. These were all people Stella knew who had died, most of whom she had known in her capacity as a palliative care nurse. And now things have turned around, and she, in her approximate mid-40s, has been diagnosed with cancer and is an aggressive form and is dying. And that's what all those visions with Lily are the visions of Lily and their mother at her bedside. Okay. From this point onwards, there's no turning back. Do you want to continue? I imagine, just for a moment, speaking from a game meta perspective. Oh, there's Lily. That because we have unfinished quests, it will probably just plop us back here to continue. So we're gonna go. We are here. Stella is ready. Whether or not we are. This game is making my eyes leak. I know. It's so good.
seas of time, memories that were left behind, bring us closer to the end of this journey where we grew as friends. Take me through the mist and storms in waters that are still unknown. Under guiding starlit sky, we will learn how to say goodbye. And I'll take your hand and guide you through all the steps one takes to move on to a place, a world unseen to us all. But it's okay, we'll be together. And I'll take your hand and guide you through all the steps one takes to move on to a place, a world unseen to us all. But I know we will remember. And I'll take your hand and guide you through all the steps one takes to move on to a place, a world unseen to us all. But it's okay, we'll be together, my friend.
Ooh. What an ending. What a powerful ending. Oh. And of course, we can see all the constellations of our friends, those we've journeyed with. I'm sorry for making it rain inside everywhere. We're all in the fields. So, good to see you, Bree. Good to see you, Squirrel. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, this game, 10 out of 10. So if I jump back, I am curious. So if I jump in here, yeah, I am just outside the Ever door. I just got here at the credits. Oh, you missed. Yeah, Stella going through the Ever door was it. First of all, we took Stanley through the Ever door, which was full of feels. Oh, he's still here. That's interesting. So it didn't save that portion. I'm not gonna retake Stanley. I'm not gonna make everyone relive those feels. But we took Stanley and it was full of feels. And then we took ourselves, it was full of more feels. Oh, Grant says it's your lucky day. How lucky you must be. I've got a new errand for you. Fresh off the presses. Have a look-see. Okay. Oh, that was exceptionally well done. So I guess we're gonna keep. I want to keep playing, obviously, because it's what we're gonna do for the day. Stanley was scared but brave. Stanley was amazing. This game, indeed. Also, greetings to you, Beer Foxes, if I didn't say hi already. Been terribly invested in this series, so I don't know if it would have hit the same had I actually watched it. That's fair. But as the one behind the wheels, so to say, it hit hard. I want to go to Crow's End. And I was doing some reading. From like the creators and like what they envision things representing. And they kind of looked at the mist that's kind of encompassing everything to the on the edges of the map where we can't go as being representative. Actually, we'll go of being representative of death kind of closing in on Stella as Hades' death itself was made manifest as the giant owl made of mist. Yeah, there's part of me thinking, oh, maybe I should wait until the end to take Stella, but I think I actually prefer having done it this way because it's less climactic in a sense, because like we know the ending now, we've done it, we've lived it, we've cried it. But I like that we have a denouement to process things and look at the world around a little bit more. Okay, there's not a lot here. Just 3 pine trees and a coal thing. I guess in some ways, Elena, the dog mentor, is a way to give you quests to help guide you on things towards the end game and late game to improve. So from like a meta perspective, I get it. Okay. Oh, I guess it's just another way up there before activating the elevator. Find the Crow's End Inc. Lost Bounty. It's very cryptic, not gonna lie. Might be that, though. There is a treasure chest there. In the far corner. Yeah, this game knows how to hit you in the feels. Oh, this is interesting. These are extra files on all the characters. Little details in case we forget them. Astrid slapped a Nazi soldier with a cast iron skillet during the war. I knew I liked Astrid. Gustav, that's the bird's name. The dogs and the Clydesdales are friends. Let's go keep progressing Daria's questline. Hey, my coworker had a commercial in the Super Bowl once. He had a Doritos commercial. It was one of those, like, fan-made ones where they would wind up putting the actual thing in the Super Bowl. And now, for, like, the 25th anniversary of that contest, they're competing at all of them and will rerun, like, 5 of them. Yeah. So even though we do have hanging quests, I'm not going to keep doing this on stream. This is going to be the last episode. I feel we have our closure. I will say, though, love this game. It's not perfect, but I do love it. I do thoroughly recommend it. I think it's beautiful. It plays well. It's moving. It sounds great. Frogs and Thumbelina, what? No, this isn't where I want to go. I went to the wrong island. I will want to replay this game in my own time one day. It will not be anytime soon. Because feels, yeah, it's kind of a lot. It's great. Again, I have loved this game thoroughly, and I think it tells beautiful and powerful stories, and I think it handles death in a really interesting way compared to our normal culture, because we are a very death-averse culture, which is natural. You know, we don't like dying. But I think Christian faith provides a way to talk about death in a slightly different way, but I think this game provides kind of a nice secular way that feeds into some of the Christian ideas. You know, think of St. Francis of Assisi. And his canticle, where he refers to death as a sister. Like, there's something close and familial about it. That it's not to be feared. Oh, there's a ladder here now. That's new. Good kitty. Okay, so we're supposed to find somewhere to play Daria's melody. Whoa, the lighthouse got a new coat of paint. Okay, I can't talk to her. I can hug her. A strong grip of a warm heart. Okay, so where am I supposed to play your melody? Right? Is that... Play Daria's song somewhere near the power station. Oh, okay. It actually gave me a location. Not just a random... Find it. I think power station's the other island? Hey, Eminem. Okay. Thought this was the power station. Maybe it's not. Oh, it's right here with all the post notes because that's Daria's thing. One memory is so deeply ingrained I could never forget it. The day is starting, I hear the noise, faintly at first, then louder and yet louder yet. Clip, clop, distant drops of water that only I could hear. Perhaps I saw it as a sign that I could no longer fit within the warm confines of the family home, and so I left seeking the source of the noise. In the beginning of my quest, the land was gentle. I remember the tender grass and the soft wind. I kept following the sounds of droplets, and while paying little attention to the waters rising at my feet, soon enough I was wading through a murky and dark flood, surrounded by a thick fog, and yelps and growls and glimmers. From this period, there is not much to remember, a vagrancy that lasts an eternity. No dive can ever restore these memories. They have been wiped clean, picked to the bone. It is as though they never existed, as if fallen through cracks in time. Still they were, the mud and scratches bear witness. I assume jumping into those spikes is a bad idea. The waters are so high now, nothing pierces them. The endless ocean unbearably calm. The murk has dissipated. The water's clearer than it ever has been. Lip-flopping has stopped. And so, with nowhere to go but down, I dive. But I must do so carefully, delicately, lest I disturb the slit that has, through the aeons, set into a peaceful but fragile blanket. Indeed. Okay, let's buy some loose spices.
Thank you.
Cafeteria. Okay. Oh, look at all our... I just realized something about the constellations. And maybe, again, maybe this is something that was obvious, but here I am. There's the blank space in the middle for where Stella's constellation will go, / is. We are surrounded, because in death we are not alone. My heart, I know. More the feels. Ah, this wreck lies hidden among the reefs and the mud. Only a faint glow betrays its presence. It lies on its side, abandoned and forgotten. But as I get closer, the noise hits me. A voice happens, and happy and sad, playful bangs and clangs. Within this ship live a great many deal of faceless shades, mother and father, unruly brothers and sisters, a cacophony that is enticing and dreadful at once. That's a great description of music in general. A cacophony that's enticing and dreadful at once. This is hurting my brain because I have to platform over the screen boundary. One of the shades escapes me. It is a proteoform and atonal, insubstantial. It has a ghastly quality that I cannot easily understand, and it seems actively to resist focus. It takes some convincing for me to accept it for what it is, an echo of my previous self, remnants undevoured by the depths unaware of even them, a treasure of incommensurable value. I meet it with cautious curiosity. That's a mood melt. Okay. Suddenly, I'm filled with sadness, for I realize or remember one essential truth that perhaps I would rather not remember. The tableau before me excludes a chaotic happiness, a family brought together by conflicts and laughter. So a family. This is some really interesting platformer design, and I kind of just want them to make a whole game of it. If at any point some all-powerful painter were to judge the tableau and remove the ghastly lone shade from it, nothing of the composition would be affected, unnoticed and untouched. Crackers for animals. Wait.
Thank you.
There's very dreamlike quality to the text I've noticed as well, which I think is kind of very fitting of the state of death. Vending machine at Overbrook. It's right in front of me. After an eternity of drifting, this place took me in. You would not have recognized me. Sunburned, cracked, bursting at the seams, a mind bloated with muddy thoughts of the self and of others. Useless detritus brought back from the depths. They bound me here with coarse moorings, and when I roared and thrashed and raved, they only tightened the bonds, brutish methods, but as I came to understand, efficacious ones. For while they could not see the raging ocean, with its winds and tempests, and its waves that I was forced to breathe in, leaving me hurt and sickly, they seemed only to understand that I should not be allowed to sink. This was a trip I would not survive. Things have changed now. The new caretakers, they are different. Nary a sound. They move graciously, wear soft gloves and velvety shoes. They secretly busy themselves around me, an unseen army of shades and ghostly servants, always making sure that I never go wanting. So I think Daria is meant to be someone who had some sort of great, sort of dissociative disorder, essentially, and had to be institutionalized. And then so there's you, Maureen's, but of a different kind. You're the only one who understands the sea. And it's not something to be scared of, but a miracle to be celebrated, a reliquary of strange and alien treasures, overwhelming in their otherworldly beauty. Only you can explore this strange world with me, an anchor, a buoy, and a lifeline all at once. Thank you, Stella. Wow. I barely recognize this place. It's a good kind of beige now. It's still just a hospital. And see? I told you that vending machine was magic or something. I'm happy and all, but it's super creepy. What? An all-powerful snack dispenser capable of changing the laws of physics? You don't find that creepy? Oh, you're right. What am I even saying? That's not possible. I probably just need glasses. Yeah, that's it. I'm just blind now. I'll work a totally normal hospital. I can't see properly. I won't question it any longer then. Thank you, I suppose. Okay. Does this mean Daria's coming with us on our boat? Wow, look at the lighthouse now. Well, she's not here yet. So maybe we just have to wait for a request. So... I don't know what to do about that one. Because I have the journal. But when I read it, it's just like... Salt can be a treacherous foe when you are made of ice. See enclosed portal and chart for reference. So when I come up here... Oh, there it is. Okay, so 2 islands together between 2 barrier sections. So where's a good section of overlap? Kind of like... Could it be Ambertown? I don't think it could be Ambertown. It has to be close to something icy. So the ice is here. You know what? I bet it's Loneburg. I bet the island's Loneburg, so I bet it's really close to this bus stop. What is meat mass? You should redeem it and find out. It's my meat morph, but he's vested for mass. And you don't know which liturgical color you're going to get because it's randomly weighted appropriately to the seasons. Also good to see a TC. I'm gonna let that sheep keep its wool right now because we're cold. We're in a cold area. I only have a few minutes. I don't have time for full mats. That's okay. He only shows up for like a minute here. Where is it? There he is. Okay, so yeah. Adorable. Junie does great stuff. So yeah, so it's kind of like here-ish, I guess. Yeah, like in 2.5 weeks. It's crazy. Like I was looking ahead, and the next mass I preach and preside at is Christ the King. But I pulled up, I'm like, oh, okay, this has to just be like the last ordinary time of the year for Christ the King. Nope, it's just already Christ the King. Been lurking for a second, and I thought I heard the dog of wisdom. No, that's just the bus stop. He's a seal. So excited for Christ the King. It's the feast day of the parish. Nice. 80 years. Sweet. Uh-oh, Bad Roxy's redeemed a father joke. Well, these next two father jokes lined up are a little bit gross. Archbishop Gustavo is coming. Hey, that's awesome. But you know what? Sometimes people find it funny when my nose is runny, but it's not. Get it? It's snot. Oh, I'm glad you like that, Churchu. It was a really fun project to complete. Still need to do a little detail work on the inside with like sconces, but I don't want to just do that over and over and over again on stream. So I'll do that on my own time at some point. Been playing a lot of Satisfactory. Are you finding the experience satisfactory? I'm not cashing that one in second full. That joke isn't fun. It just is not. Look, I never said father jokes were funny. All right, you take care, TC. Hope the studies are going well. It is immensely satisfying. Well, that's good. Means it's living up to its name. Ordinarily, I think I'd be concerned about swimming in these waters, but as we're just a spirit, Hey, Tony, master of humor. So I'm fairly certain that this is where it's supposed to be, but the exact location might be a bit trickier. Might just have to look it up. No, let's go visit Albert. Well, the best way to get there is from this bus stop. Linen. The superior fiber. Linen does make good pants. Linen makes fantastic pants. I wish I had linen vestments. That would be so comfortable in the summer. I once had a friend who cut his own toe. He had a new one made of rubber. He was called Rubber Toe. Very told us that one. Linen and wool are the best. Linen sheets. Ooh. So that's just bigger, which we don't really need, actually. Oh. Okay, you want things. XP potion. XP potion I have to get from Buck's activity. I guess I could make the rest of that. I just realized that there was a stream going because I didn't get a notification at 3 like I usually do. I blame Twitch. Good to see you, Brayhard. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Hope. Good to see ya. Oh, I really had. I really screwed that one up. You know what's great in winter? Flannel sheets. Dang it, I don't have enough pine planks. Oh, too much. Why do electrum sheets take so much? We thought Daffodil would have the zoomies, but it's actually... There's actually else who has the zoomies. Okay. So we have enough ingots. All we're missing is a few pine planks. That's so obnoxious that we're so close and yet so far. Oh, may as well stop by Francis and see what quests he's got. See what we can clear up. Wants us to make a corn dog, noodle soup, and apple pie. Sounds like a weird menu, but okay. I wish there was a better way of checking what errands there are. Hey, Mithril. Wants pears. I can give him pears. Probably do the nebula fabric really quickly. That's really the last one that we could do quickly. So let's go make some nebula fabric. There you go, you weird looking garlic bulb man.
Oh.
Didn't mean to talk to him. Okay. Back to getting pine. And before we do that, Twitch chat, I'm going to take a quick bio break, so we should be back in just a moment. All right, and we're back, and as I came back, my controller was vibrating. And I looked at the screen, and what do I see? But the pager. Dearest Stella, one Daria has expressed her desire to receive your visit. Regards, Overbrook's caretaker. Okay, it's not Jackie yet. Yeah, that hyena we really didn't like. Turns out he comes back. Don't know why my voice cracked so much there, but, you know, this is life. Hey chat, should I end the stream by going through the Everdoor again? Alright, we'll go get some pine logs. We'll turn them in. We'll get Daria, and I think that's where we're going to call it for both the day and this game on stream. Feels weird to say goodbye to this game. It feels like such a natural fit for Spirituality Tuesday. Rotata. I'm gonna need a refresher. Oh yes, today's Mother Cabrini. Mother Cabrini, Mother Cabrini. Don't be a meanie. Find a spot for my machine. Are you mentoring the Spiritfarer Morite? Well, yeah. I mean, were you not lurking at that earlier bit when we took? We have the quest to go through the Spirit Door or through the Everdoor. But yeah, Mother Cabrini is an interesting saint. Very dedicated to life in America, despite not being American herself. Just really cared for the poor and the orphans. It's a great model of kind of rolling up your sleeves and saying, okay, great. Time to get to work. No, I haven't been paying attention. Yeah, earlier we took Stella through yon Everdoor, so she could go to heaven, because the whole metaphor right now is that she's actively dying in her hospital bed, and this is all kind of the metaphor of that process of her letting go of life. I don't think that's how you harvest garlic, but okay. But I made it rain inside of everyone's chat in their various houses when we went through the Everdoor. It was very emotional. It was very well done. But dang, did it hit right in the feels. Did I play the guitar and see the story for the mushroom? Yeah. Yeah, we took Stanley through the Everdoor too, which was also emotional. And then we played the guitar for the bat. And now she wants to join us. Yeah, when the pieces of her life come together, it's... I don't think we've gotten to that point. We've gone through some of the platforming sections that are very, they're very trippy. But I think she's kind of coming into lucidity. You literally just told us that one. Let's get that. And now we'll need 5 rose gold sheets and more XP potions, which I don't know what to do about. I don't know how to trigger that event with Buck. There must be a way. Sometimes the snap to things on the grid is a little weird too. All right, let's go collect Daria. Got comets, got jellies. Got the little worms. The lightning storms. Yeah, I don't know how to best those bugs. I don't know how to best trigger the Buck adventure thing. It is done. Stella, you are here. I feel. How do you like my paintings? I need your help, Stella. Another dive away from here. You know what I mean, do you not? The doctors, they will not say a thing. Not if I am going with you. They know better than to protest. They know what it all means. It is. Let's go. Normally new spirits show up here, but I guess not for Daria. She's probably already in the guest room. No? I don't know where she's hiding out at. I feel like there's something over here that we've never discovered. Oh, I thought we'd have to build Daria a place. We're just taking her straight to the Everdoor. I kind of want to see that. Oh, there she is. She's hanging out in here. Okay, she just hangs out there. Catatonic. Oh, there's a bus stop. I guess. Yeah, I think we're gonna take Daria through the Everdoor. Rounded off as having taken everyone we can take, I guess. Dario's one of your fave shows. It's a good choice. Welcome back to Six Ed World. You're standing on my net. I was just thinking of Jane reading Six Ed World. Yeah. Stella, the air is different. We've reached it, have we not? Let us leave. Oh, what was your sister's name? Their last name is Morgendorfer. It wasn't Phoebe. The air, it has this quality. Yes, I understand now. All the pieces of the self that were lost. Well, they ought to be here. You look dejected. Do not. You knew all along, Stella, you had to. Did you think it would not end here? No, I cannot be fooled like others. The laws of the ocean have no bearing on me. Quinn. Thank you, Kit. You traveled with me, Stella. and I am grateful for that. Of all, only you saw the beauty within the depths, the wonders that have amazed and alienated me. I hope you see now that I am not to be pitied. Such brilliance is a gift like no other, and I am happy that with me you could glance at it. You see it now, do you not? My transparency, my lack of substance? I am not getting better. Since the storm, every day ribbons of me falling into oblivion. I have lost too much. I am incomplete beyond repair, below the critical mass required for continued existence. Echoes of echoes can only last for so long. Goodbye, Stella. I like that for the hug. It's kind of like Stella snatches her out of the air, is like getting a hug. Oh, that's a cool constellation. So where are we exactly when that drops us off? It does drop us off out just at the upper door. Stanley, I'm not taking you again. I cannot handle that twice. I'm sorry. Don't you play the guitar here? Apparently not. We did it at the hospital where she was. Stanley is a strong boy. Good time. Give you some food. What kind of food would you like? You'd probably like... Oh, that's right. It has fruit. Yeah, so that is Spiritfarer. That is... Yeah, we could retake that. I can't. I cannot emotionally handle that. So I think that is where we're going to call it, both for this day and for the journey of this Spiritfarer. So thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today on this very emotional finale of Spiritfarer. That was a lot, but it was beautiful. I loved it. 10 out of 10. Love this game. We'll play again. We'll cry again. Join Join us again tomorrow for more Super Metroid for Throwback Thursday. Next week, Monday, will be May the farewell be with you and with your spirit. Very Catholic response. Monday will continue to be Chrono Trigger for RPG Monday. Spirit Tuesday for Spirituality Tuesday, we're going to be transitioning to a game called Victory at Hebron. It's a it's an old video game based on a trading card game that is still going. It's interesting. I don't know what to make of it. I don't even know what the rules are. We're gonna figure that out together. Oh, why are you gonna make me cry by putting that back in chat, Mel? Midweek Minecraft on Wednesday, which will be the normal time, and more Super Metroid on Thursday. So yeah, so thank you so much again for everyone who's tuned in, liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, checked out the YouTube, checked out the Discord, all that good jazz. And why don't we see who is live to raid into? Gonna send y'all over to Hey Philly. I feel like we haven't. Sorry, but not sorry. That's fair. Uh, Gonna send you on over to Hey Philly. I feel like we haven't rated her in a long time. She's playing some Fallout 4 right now. Go give her some love. Raid call will be crying raid. You know, in light of what all has happened with Spiritfarer, brain not braining. But yeah, I think that's it. So yep. So crying raid is the raid call. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Take care and God bless.